This is the Oz report for February 17th, 2024. We're back from CSM Summit, and so we're going back into the daily grind of analyzing the EVE markets. And let's start with the packs, because we have a new pack out there. I was talking about this earlier on my stream, but if you look at the starter pack, there is a starter pack in the store that is completely different. They have removed the Cerebral Accelerator and the skill points, and they've added skins, GlamourX boosters, and a level 3 Magic 14 expert system. All right, so the overall value without skill points drops down completely, as you guys know, because I don't value skins or expert systems or GlamourX boosters. It's very much a question of whether you want those skins, you want a leg up on the Magic 14, and whether you're using GlamourX boosters to increase your standing. If yes, then buy it. But it's not the brain dead. Yes, the of course fantastic value buy that it was before. So, you know, have a look at it. Don't be surprised if you're looking at my previous videos where I say this is a great value. It's not anymore. Make sure you understand that. And so that's just a little bit of a public service announcement. Let's move over to the EVE markets, and we'll start with Plex and Plex derivatives as always. Plex price, we saw a spike last week. That spike last week in Plex pricing, it went up to 5.2, which it hasn't been in a very, very long time, is because in the New Eden store, where you can only buy with Plex, we had a 50% off on starter packs. Specifically, the Platinum pack is fantastic value, and it was on sale also. So it triggered a lot of Plex buyers that wanted to take advantage of this 50% off sale. And what this also did, it injected a lot of skill extractors into the economy, because the pack does contain skill extractors. So you can see the same reason that Plex went up, you can see a big dip in skill extractor prices that went down up to 450 million. Now you've got to be there to take advantage of these, right? This was a very, very quick dip down, but a great money-making opportunity once again. So this was, and again, one of those situations where NES offer for skill extractors, if indirectly here now, skill extractor prices dropped by 10% or more. They immediately came back up though, and today it's touching 500 again. So we're right back to normal prices. So skill extractors dip but unchanged. Plex went up and now back down. So not a real big change there. And large skill extractors are much lower than they were last week, but have also, you know, fallen back into that space of, you know, between 850 and 900, which is it's basically been for months and months. So if we're looking at the actual profit of skill farming, we are in the range that we've always been. So not much has changed. Right now, the skill farming profit is at 670 million per account per month. So over a year, that's about 8 billion in profits. And that is still good, right? So at the current pricing relation between injectors, extractors, and Plex, it still makes sense to start a skill farm. It's still profitable. And remember, this calculation you're seeing in the back is based on a 12-month subscription pricing bought with Plex, but it's not taking advantage of any offers. So you could increase these profits significantly if you're also taking advantage of sales at the same time. And so, yes, skill farming is profitable. So once again, I don't see a reason why skill injector prices should be increasing by a lot, because there should be enough people still producing them. All right. Let's have a quick look at the items trending up this week. We can see that the Balgorn here going up 15%. We're seeing two advanced Moon materials. That's the Moon materials after reactions: crystalline carbonate and titanium carbonate going up double digits in price. Typically an indicator that people are in T2 production. But overall, nothing big here. You know, there is still gas. Every once in a while, the various gases are still in high demand. So here you're seeing amber, microcerrosin up 15%. They keep spiking. So if we look at this in game, let's look at trending up in game actually here. Here you go. It's, you know, the gas prices have normalized a little bit, but they keep going up, they keep spiking just because there is high demand and low supply for some of the larger, more expensive ships. Now, let's look at items in short supply. Actually, we can stay in the game client. Let's look at items in short supply. Interestingly enough, you look at golden microcerrosin here. Golden microcerrosin, there's only 0.8 trade days left. So right now there's more traded in a single day than there's available in the JITA market. So that's how you can see how fragile this gas market is. Golden microcerrosin used in a lot of ships, a lot of the more expensive ships in EVE Online, and it is to a point where it's just very, very rare. So if you have the opportunity to mine these, go out and do so. There's a lot of money to be had. If you are day trading in these, be ready for this to spike again, because the smallest difference in buying behavior could mean a big change in the price based on the lack of supply that there is in JITA and surrounding markets, right? The golem, we've talked about that a lot in the last weeks. It's in short supply. It's not only expensive as we predicted, it's also in very short supply. So right now the golem also 0.8 trade days. So there's also fewer golems in the JITA market than they are traded in a single day, and they're not a very easy build, right? So it's not like people can refill these stocks very, very quickly. So also in very, very high demand. Now, let's look at largest supply drop. So these are the items that have just been either bought out, typically bought out, because a drop in supply typically means that somebody went in and bought a lot, or a lot of people went in to buy a lot. So interestingly enough here, the Republic Fleet Commander insignia, these are the insignias to hand in. This is massively traded because you need these for a lot of faction LP items to trade in for, and it's been on a massive rally. And this is why I like to trade in these, because you see that just a few months ago, these are very cyclical in nature. Just a few months ago, these were under 5 million, and now under good demand. Because of the way that faction warfare maps flip, the way that items play, the value of items changes based on various factors on the EVE economy. These have now hit 6.5 million in price, and this is on an item that trades over 5 billion a day, right? So you can actually make trades, you can actually make money. So I absolutely love trading in these insignia. Similarly, you can see here other insignias out there. The Imperial Navy General insignia has been bought out. Look at this, 10,000 in a day, and they cost 2.5 million. So this is massive amounts of these exchanging hands. So where a lot of ISK gets exchanged, a lot of money is there to be made. Most of these other things that have been bought out are modules. And interestingly enough, burnt logic circuits. Plex shows up on here, all right? And that should tell you a lot, all right? Plex, 60% drop in Plex supply. That is massive. That shows you how big the spike was, right? The Plex supply is not as deep as you may think. There's trillions out there, but you know, it's a very it's a very liquid item, so a lot of it gets immediately hit onto the market and goes out again. So there doesn't need to be a lot of actual orders on the market, but it's not typical to see it in the largest drop category. So Plex also was significantly hit, and that's why you saw that significant price increase as well. One thing that's interesting here is burn logic circuits. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't show up here. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't. The price drops. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So this just means that at some point, probably at the point in time where we took this snapshot last week to now, there just happens to be probably one very large order that was bought out, but it doesn't even register that big. It was probably, you know, these two blips right here, but it's not even that big overall. Just the amount out there, it's big enough. So this is probably, look at me. I'm one of them out there trying to sell a lot of these. Let's finish up by looking at items that are underpriced. I always like that. Underpriced in terms of way below 52-week average. That's what I mean by underpriced, right? Some of these don't make sense at all. I say this every week. Chiron and Fenrir, yes, they have dropped a lot in price, but that's just because they have blueprint changes. Interestingly enough, titanium, all right? Raw moon material trading at 52-week low. That's always interesting, right? If these raw materials, it's always a question of bottlenecks. You know, in the past, I've made a lot of money in trading in raw moon materials. Why? Because in times of low tier 2 production, or in times of low destruction, in times where there's not big wars, in times where there's no reason to massively ramp up your production, moon materials are going to be kind of cheap, right? At least some of them, the ones that are abundant. So, you know, you could think of this as, oh, it's not worth going out and mining moons. On the other hand, it's also a fantastic time to stockpile these, because if you're patient, if you have the time, these will typically come back unless there's a massive change in the game, right? You can sit on these. People will need them. People will need them at some point. Somebody in chat is asking about the blueprint changes of freighters. This already happened last June, so you can see here that we've had a massive drop in the price of. Oh no, sorry, this is wrong item. The Fenrir here, you can see that here. The price drop here was a blueprint change in freighters. They, you know, some of them did spike back based on raw material prices, but this is the new base that they should be at. So they shouldn't be 3 billion. They should be more closer to 2 billion right now. And then Zydrine is another one. This is one of my pet peeves. Look, the in-game graph, the outliers have destroyed the in-game graph, but Zydrine as well, very, very cheap right now. You know, I've mentioned this in the past. It's a victim of other bottlenecks, but as soon as other bottlenecks get solved, there's a good chance that the supply and demand relation between the various basic minerals can change significantly, and that's how you see spikes like here. You can actually make a lot of money on basic material speculation, because when they do go up, they go up significantly, and the trade volume is just so high that it's just fun. And then we have some X-type dead space modules that are just always fun to trade in, because they are very valuable. They have very high trade volumes, and if they're cheap, like these are right now, like the X-type large armor repairer, the heavy energy neutralizer, and the large armor repairer. Is this the Corpus and the Centis X-type large armor repairers? They are way underpriced right now, possibly overfarmed as well. But also on them, you know, a few big fights, a few doctrines using them, and they could bounce back easily. And these being, you know, hundreds of millions worth a pop, they can actually make you a lot of money. So yeah, that's the Oz report for today. Kind of winging it because life has been crazy. CSM Summit's going on, so many things, but hope you enjoyed it anyway. We're going to go return to the regular stream, and I'll see you guys next week.